We've all seen the video.
I forgive him.
It looks like a beautiful moment of grace, right? Like some peak cinema level forgiveness. Wrong. What you're actually looking at is a strategic masterclass in social currency.
It's a trap!
Most people have fallen for the religious theatrics, but if you don't learn to see through this specific brand of performative grift, you're being served a white supremacist agenda wrapped in a Sunday morning choir robe. Let's pull back the curtain on why this forgiveness feels so uncanny. Because honestly, the math is not mathing.
Unable to understand, really, that act of grace. How is it possible that you can forgive the person that murdered your husband?
I'm not forgetting what he did. I'm not condoning what he did. What he did is sick and evil. So sick and evil. What I am doing is releasing myself from the enemy's hands, where he could have a foothold in me, and he could be able to just, like I said earlier, you have a choice. Am I going to take that moment? And I will never say anything I don't mean. I really prayed on that moment. That was a game time decision. I'll never say what I don't mean. But am I going to take that moment to say, rally the troops, burn the city down, march in the streets? Or am I going to take that moment and unleash something like we talked about, even greater, more powerful, and say, it's a revival? And let that unleash and let the Lord use it in ways that no one else could have ever imagined.
Look, man, if she wants to take the high road and forgive the dude, then hey, that's her business. That's probably the wisest move she could have made for her own sanity. Commendable, even. Because we can all agree on one thing. Holding a grudge is just being a prisoner to your own past. It's like being enslaved and chained by the ghosts of your abuser. If forgiveness is what sets her free from the grip of her husband's assassin, then truly, I'm happy for her. Truly. But then, she keeps repeating
what he did is sick and evil. So sick and evil.
And it just gets weird. It's uncanny, bro. It feels performative as like it's giving grift. And that's why a lot of people, myself included, are looking at this like, wait a minute. Let's not even forget the iconic,
No, of course. But we serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that he's sovereign, but he's just. And so let the Lord handle that.
with that reaction, that evil look, that's not a prayer, man. That's a straight up threat. Like, what the heck? But hey, she clearly don't care about none of our opinions, just like she said.
You know what I care about? I care about what my daughter says about me and her running up into my arms and loving on me. That's what I care about.
You know who I actually feel for in this entire circus? The kids. I genuinely feel sad for them, man. You just gotta have your fingers crossed that they don't turn out to be shitty people like their parents. Because let's be real, those kids didn't ask for this. They didn't ask for their father to be some racist piece of shit who built an entire career out of being a professional hater. His entire legacy, the only thing he's leaving behind is being a racist, college dropout loser who built a platform on dog whistles and cooking the books. The man is out here lying on statistics, straight up making stuff up just to further his little racist ideologies, all while cosplaying as some devout Christian. It's pathetic. Their father's a piece of shit who's going to be remembered by many as exactly as the questioner puts it.
One of the things that has happened over the 3 months since Charlie was murdered is that people have gone through the thousands, maybe tens of thousands of hours of words he produced. He said more in 31 years than most people will say in a lifetime.
Yes.
And I want to read a few that have captured the most attention, especially on the political left, okay?
Yeah.
Some gun deaths were, quote, unfortunately worth it to preserve the Second Amendment, he said. Acknowledging that he wishes he didn't feel this way, he said, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He said the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. Now, I realize that all of those quotes come from longer conversations that he had on his show.
Correct.
But he did say those things. And Charlie is being memorialized by many people as a person who promoted civil discourse, as a person who said, come to the front of the line, let's have a civil conversation. How do you square that with the statements I just read?
Look at this. And just look at her. Look at the way she handles it. Let's see how she responds to the truth for once.
I would love for everyone to be able to watch the full and entire clip of what he said. Charlie didn't care what skin color you were. He didn't care what religion you were. He loved excellence. He loved knowing that people, his favorite word was earn. He loved knowing that people worked hard to earn what they got. He worked so hard to build Turning Point USA.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
See, this is not what we are going to do. We're not about to sit here and play these games. In what world, in what universe does this become a logical or okay statement? I'm sorry, but no amount of context is saving this dude, not a single bit. Yet his fans want to be like, but he didn't care about your color. Yeah, okay, he didn't care about color at all, right? Is that why he said,
if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Is that why he's out here saying,
you really have to wonder, in fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist.
they steal white man's place to be where they are? But let's get back to the hypocrisy. You have someone like Michelle Obama, Princeton, Harvard Law, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, whose resume is so stacked it makes your average politician look like a wet napkin. And yet this dude, this college dropout, has the absolute nerve to say they lack brain processing power and only got there because of a diversity program. Are you kidding me? This is the same guy who built a platform on dog whistles and cooking the books. He's out here lying on statistics just to further his little racist ideologies, all while cosplaying as some devout Christian. It's funny how they only care about excellence when it's a stick to beat black people with. It's the same old script, isn't it? It never changes. See, when black and brown people look at the literal data, when they point at the redlining, the sentencing disparities, the state-sponsored boot on the neck, and call it what it is, a racially motivated system, suddenly it's victim mentality. Suddenly you're just playing the race card because you can't make it in a meritocracy. But wait, it gets better. Because when a black person actually does navigate that minefield, when they pull themselves up and actually succeed, then it isn't hard work, it isn't talent, it's luck, or better yet, it's a DEI hire. They want you to stay quiet while they subjugate you, and the second you open your mouth to describe your reality, they slap the victim label on you. But the moment you win, they try to take the credit away and give it to a corporate initiative. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say we are living in the golden age of the performative grift. Many people out here are just pretending to be something, anything, just to stack up a little bit of social currency. Exhibit A.
I forgive him.
I forgive him religious theatrics. It's a textbook move, man. They paint their religion as this ultimate shield of being loving, forgiving, and caring. And then, by extension, they paint themselves as the holy embodiment of those characteristics. They do the whole
I forgive him
dance because it's a strategic opening. It gives them a fake level of credibility and moral authority. It's like they're saying, look at how much of a saint I am, so now you have to believe the garbage I'm about to spew. But at the end of the day, these people are just using Christianity as a mask to slip their racism in without getting checked. Let's just call it what it is. Christian nationalist is nothing but a 2025 code word for white supremacist. And honestly, ain't no amount of context saving this guy. It doesn't take a genius to see through the grift. Let's look at his favorite little racist talking point, DEI. He loves to mock it, loves to weaponize it, and, surprise, surprise, he exclusively associates it with black people. Remember that famous reviling statement he made about his true intent?
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
You, bitch. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Back the fuck up. I knock the fuck.
He wants his audience to think that unqualified black pilots are falling out of the sky to take over, but the actual data makes him look like an absolute mouth-breathing Neanderthal. If we look at the actual receipts, the McKinsey and Fortune 500 data from 2024 and 2025 tells a completely different story. The C-suite representation for white women is at 23%, while women of color are struggling at a measly 7%. White women hold 27% of all managerial roles, which is nearly double the share of women of color. Even way back in 1995, reports showed that 6 million women held jobs they wouldn't have had without these policies, and the vast majority of them were white. And yet, in the Fortune 500, only 8 companies have black CEOs. That's 1.6%, despite black Americans being over 14% of the population. Hispanic employees are at 5% of executive roles, despite being nearly 19% of the workforce. And check the broken rung stats. For every 100 men promoted, only 73 women of color get that same nod. McKinsey says it'll take 22 years for white women to reach parity, but 48 years for women of color. The facts are screaming, but Charlie is yapping. The demographic that has benefited the most from DEI is white women, period. Black men are actually at the bottom of the list of beneficiaries. If Charlie wasn't a pathetic racist pushing a white supremacist agenda, his statement wouldn't have been,
If I see a black pilot,
it would have been, if I see a white woman pilot. But he didn't do that because he's leaning into that classic minority tax, that situation where black people have to prove 10 times more just to be taken seriously because they're deemed unqualified by default. He never connects DEI to the people actually benefiting. He only targets us to stir up his base. Isn't that ironic? Our little investigation found the truth. White supremacists benefit their own women the most, then turn around and blame black and brown people to justify their hateful ideology. It's a sickness. It's a grift. And honestly, it's just unremarkable, unimpressive, and pathetic. But hey, man, that's just the reality of the situation we're living in, right? We see the stats, we see the projection, and we see the same tired-ass scripts being played out by these mouth breathers every single day. They're gonna keep yapping, and we gonna keep pulling the receipts. But I want to know what y'all think. Am I tripping, or is the math finally starting to math for everyone else, too? Drop a comment below, and let me know if you've been seeing this same minority tax play out in your own life. If you appreciate the deep dive, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with somebody who needs a reality check. We're gonna keep it pushing, keep uncovering the grift, and keep calling it exactly like it is. I'm out of here, man. Peace.